Good morning, everyone. I see lots of people flowing in, the numbers. Welcome, welcome. We're so excited to have you. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Grab some coffee, put your feet up, have some fun with us this morning. I'm going to check on our other person. I don't see an email and I don't see a text. Might be the Andrew show today.
That's all right. I'll try.
I know you will. All right. Let us know where you're tuning in from, everyone. Good morning, Pat. We want to see where you're all at. I hope I'm saying this right, Alex. Caledon, Ontario, Trenton, Ontario. Good morning, everyone. Sudbury. I see Minnesota. You've got some Wasaga Beach people, Andrew.
Good, good. That's what I like to hear. I've been cracking the whip.
I know, that's great. So excited. All right, I'm a little concerned about Karen. I wonder if she joined as a participant. I'm just going to double check because that happens sometimes. Let's just see.
There she is.
There she is. Woo, just in time. I'm bringing the Facebook audience in as well. Just making sure that's working. Good morning, Karen. You're on mute right now.
Good morning, all.
Hi.
Hey, Karen.
How are you? Good to see you. Well, we are live, everyone. So let's go ahead and get started today, this morning. So I'm super excited to welcome all of you officially to the next installment of our RE/MAX Business Builder series. We call them Tech Tuesdays. My name is Michelle Hoyt, and I'm Manager of Education and Development at RE/MAX INTEGRA. And I welcome all of you from INTEGRA. This includes all of you coming to us from the Ontario Atlantic region, as well as the US regions in the Midwest and New England. We also want to officially welcome all of our RE/MAX friends from the company-owned regions that join us each and every week. So we are one big happy family, and we're thrilled to have you all. So as those of you that have been attending these in the past, you know that each and every week we focus on one particular topic, and I couldn't even be more excited than to feature the one today. Today we're going to talk all about marketing your listings, and particularly in one key area. I'm very excited to have an approved supplier on with us. I'll let her introduce herself in just a moment, but I'm going to just quickly mention a couple of housekeeping things here. Those of you that are on Zoom, please pay attention to the Q&A box as well as the chat box, as that's where you can ask questions. I will do my best to monitor that and to pay attention to that. And I know our panelists want to hear from you. So we will pause from time to time and check questions, and they will answer those live just for you. I'm also broadcasting live on the RE/MAX INTEGRA US Facebook page. So hello everyone on Facebook. Your questions are welcome too. Again, I will also keep an eye on those. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with letting our panelists introduce themselves. So we have some very key individuals, one from Ontario Atlantic and one from the New England region, as well as, like I mentioned, a very special VIP guest from an approved supplier. We're going to start with Andrew. Andrew, please introduce yourself. Tell us about you, your background in real estate and RE/MAX, and just anything else you want us to know about you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Andrew McKay. I live in Wasaga Beach in Ontario. That's about 90 minutes north of Toronto. Our claim to fame is we've got the longest freshwater beach in the world. So it's a nice summer resort, and Collingwood is the biggest ski resort in Ontario. It's ski hills. It's 20 minutes away from us. So fantastic area to live. I came over from London in England in 2007 straight to Wasaga Beach. I got my license, that was November, I got my license in June 2008, just as the whole of the Western economy went like that. So that was a bit of a learning experience. Our market, our population's about 21,000 people. Last year, I think there was 509 residential. No, last year, 592 residential sales. And this year, to the end of August, there's been 508. So considering COVID and everything, it has been a remarkably busy year. As I said, I got my license in June 2008 and I joined RE/MAX in June 2013. I wanted to step up to a busier brokerage and where there was more success going on. And I made the right move. Last year, the RE/MAX office in Wasaga Beach, compared to all the other brokerages in town, had 57.4% of the business for 2019. And this year, up to the end of August, it's dropped, but only to 57.3%. So very RE/MAX, and that brought my game up. I was doing okay before, but joining a successful RE/MAX office definitely made me more successful.
Very good. Thank you so much, Andrew. Karen, tell us all about you and your background, your market, and anything else you want the viewers to know.
Super. Thank you, Andrew, for you covered a lot of great points. So I did get into the business in 2003. I joined RE/MAX in 2007, and since then I have never regretted it. And I tell lots of new agents that this is where you want to be, because you need the support, you need the global perspective, and you need the credibility with consumers, which has always been fantastic. And I tell my sellers that I stay with RE/MAX because we're going to be ahead of the curve. We were the first ones using social media. You know, the topic of today, Box Brownie, I am sure I heard of it through RE/MAX. And that are the things that keep me relevant to my market and my clients and keep my business going well. So I think I mentioned I've been with RE/MAX since 2007. I am with RE/MAX Encore in Wilmington. I live in Reading, Mass, which is about 20 minutes north of Boston. So lifelong resident of the North Shore of Boston. We're a suburb. We have relatively easy access to the coastline, to the mountains of New England, downtown Boston. It's been a nice place to be during this tumultuous 220. In our market, we are continuing to see persistent low inventory, putting pressure on home prices. And I have been flat out since June. I think people realize that if this happens again, they wanted to be in their new home. And so it's just been crazy. So what we're seeing in the Boston area is probably not that different than other folks around large metropolitan areas are seeing. But we are seeing folks deciding now is the time to get a second home. So my referral business has been pretty strong to other New England states, you know, out of Boston. And I have a number of folks saying, okay, this is the time we've been thinking about selling. This is the time we want to sell. And there's definitely an exodus from downtown Boston to the suburbs, to the coast, second home sales. That's definitely what we're seeing in all price points. So I think, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Karen. We appreciate it. Kosha, please introduce yourself as well and let us know all about you.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Kosha Brown. I am the Director of Business Development with boxbrownie.com. I've been in the real estate industry since 2001, first as a real estate agent in Arizona, and then joined Realtor.com for 12 years. And now I'm with Box Brownie, and I absolutely love it. It's a great company to work for. A little history about Box Brownie is how we got the name is there used to be a camera by Kodak that was developed in 1900, and they called it the Brownie box. And without knowing a little bit of what different cultures might not necessarily know what the Box Brownie is, their slogan was, you take the photo and we do the rest, which is pretty much still the premise of how Box Brownie runs their business. So really excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to answering any questions that any of your agents might have for me.
Okay, sounds good. And so just in case you didn't realize this, I'm sure you don't, Kosha's tuning in from the West Coast, so it's really early for her. So I definitely want to thank you for that, Kosha, for getting up with us this morning and pre-breakfast even.
Yep.
Oh, no, thank you so much. All right, Andrew and Karen, start kind of talk a little bit about marketing your listings in general. So Andrew, when you first got in the business, and even prior to Box Brownie, how were you marketing your listings before?
I didn't have any listings when I first got in the business. I mentioned to you, when I first arrived, the only people I knew in Canada were my wife and daughter. So sphere of influence was pretty bare. But I'm going somewhere with the listings with this. I had to concentrate on buyers and getting buyers from out of town because everybody in town knew a realtor or knew 5 realtors. So I very much hit in 2008 with blogging, etc., hit the online market in Toronto to get buyers who were coming up, who had no loyalty, didn't know anybody up here. That worked. But then as I got listings, I was a bit ahead of the game with online marketing and knowledge because it was just on the cusp then. It was still, people were still being told, join the Parents Association, realtors join clubs, meet people that way. So as I started to get listings, I was able to take that experience of attracting buyers to me through online work to attracting buyers to the listings. And I've always used a professional photographer, had a little flip camera to start with, 2009, 2010, and really realized as somebody with no sphere of influence, I had to get people out of town. And that was marketing. You know, that was using technology because everybody was looking online. So that, no listings to start, but everybody wants photographs, video, 3D tours from day one, really hitting those to attract people's attention in the Toronto area who were coming up to buy.
So would you say, besides Box Brownie, what are your primary efforts that are working for you now? Is it still in the digital space, and what in particular are you doing in the digital space?
Always professional photos from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Hit Box Brownie to get tool 3 enhanced, so they grab people's attentions. Myself and Jeff McGuinness, who I work with, we're a partnership. We bought a Matterport camera in Florida about 6 years ago. So we've been using Matterport for 6 years on every single listing. I think you've only got 7 seconds with people's attention. So they look at the price, they look at the address, they don't read all the verbiage to start with, they hit the photos. Especially if the first photo, which is for me is always a Box Brownie one, grabs their attention. Photos first, then they start clicking around. So they look at the Matterport. I also do video, but only a 1 to 2 minute one. It's not a walkthrough where people get bored. It's just highlighting 1 or 2 items in the house features because the attention span is low. But if they then watch the video, they're still on the listing. So the whole premise with the online marketing is to grab their attention, then keep them there so they're not swiping or clicking away. And that's all visual, you know.
Right, sounds good. And you know, the fact that you started with nothing, no sphere of influence, and coming to a whole other country, I'm sure there's a lot watching right now that can relate, especially those that are brand new to the business, where they're starting from the ground up as well. So that's a great story, Andrew. Thank you.
You just
Karen,
put the hours in. Sorry for interrupting. You just
okay.
do the work.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's as hard and as simple as that.
Right. And during the pandemic, some of you are probably thinking it's hard to get out and meet people. Well, that's where social media plays a big role. That's fantastic. Karen, talk to us about when you first got in the business, when you started getting listings, how did you market those? And then how different is it today for you?
Sure. It's very different. So I started in 2003. And again, like Andrew, I had to build my business from scratch. I was a technologist. I'm an MBA. That was my background. So like Andrew, I started working with buyers. As a lifelong resident of the North Shore, I was able to help buyers work in multiple towns, which was different from when I was first purchasing my home. So back then, I remember you got to get your newspaper listing in every week. You got to get that newspaper listing in. It was horrible. So now it is all virtual. It is all online. And like Andrew, the cornerstone of any good marketing plan is the high quality photo and videos. And I like the Matterport tours. I have clients who might prefer a website. I have been using the website product as a relatively easy way to show my sellers the value of Remax. There's a virtual tour in Remax, which is terrific, and I've gotten good feedback from sellers on that. I make sure my Zillow profile stays updated. Zillow is now, Andrew mentioned 1 to 2 minute videos, and I completely agree, a minute to max. Zillow now lets you record the video in advance and upload it, whereas before you had to do a live video for your listing, which was a little scary and could take some time. So I still find that consumers are looking at Realtor.com, looking at Zillow. And so I agree with Andrew as well. You only have a few minutes to catch their attention. So your photos need to be clear. They need to be well lit. They need to be eye-catching. And then they'll look at the text. And if the videos look, what I like to say to people, if your pictures don't look good, people are not going to get out of their seats. They're going to click to the next property. So that's pretty important. The other thing that I think has been important for my business is the education opportunities available to us. A lot of them, we can get started through Remax. I have been a luxury home marketing specialist for a number of years, and I have been a buyer's agent for a number of years, an accredited buyer's rep. Most recently, I got the NAR Green certification, and that is an interesting certification because it is nationally recognized within and outside the realtor community. So I don't know if I mentioned, I've also been very active in local government, and I was recently elected to our select board, and in our local community, we are looking to make a difference in the green technologies and green building that we use. And if you have a chance to take that NAR Green class, I would. You learn a lot of technology that consumers don't know. So you're going to be able to differentiate yourself. It's the wave of the future. It's certainly important for protecting our client. So again, all starting with the pictures for your listings, but in general, your business. I have my website. I was doing a lot of blogging. Getting those, that's the funny thing about how our business has changed. I don't know if Andrew, you would agree with me. There's so much work going on before a property hits a market now. And then once it hits a market, it is a race to make sure it's out there in all the different places, whether it's your social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever other platforms you're using on your own Facebook page. So that's what I'm in the midst of now. I had a listing go on last night, and so that's what we'll do today. We've got the high quality video, we've got a website, we've got pictures enhanced by Box Brownie, and now it's a matter of getting them out there. So yeah, it's very different.
Oh, that sounds good. Now, Karen, you mentioned we. Do you have a team, or do you have help with that? I'm sure everyone's wanting to know.
So the name of my business is Herrick Home Team. So I do not have a staff. My team is more virtual. I definitely rely on my stager. I rely on my photographers to be nimble. I do have an assistant working with me at the moment to make sure I can be in 2 places at once. And then I have attorneys. So being able to offer a full service solution for your clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, referring them to trusted folks, going in for your listing specifically, going in before we take the pictures and helping them understand where they can get the most value, whether it's some painting, and then referring them to the local papers. So that's definitely a part of so my team is virtual for sure. And it's a fluid team depending on what my client needs.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think one of the key messages we hope to get out of today is that there's things that you may want to do, or maybe you want to learn how to do, but is that really what you should be spending your time on? And Karen has done an amazing job outsourcing some of these tasks, even though she's still overseeing it and still involved. So I think that's definitely something for everyone to think about, for sure. All right, so I'm sure you're all wondering, what is Box Brownie? What's the elevator pitch and what it is? So I'm going to turn it over to Kosha for a little bit, about 5 minutes or so, and she's going to walk you through on some of these awesome tools that they have and what they can do for your listings. So Kosha, we're going to go ahead and let you share your screen. I'm just going to take a quick peek at questions and chat while you're doing that. And let us know when you're ready.
I am ready. Yeah, a little bit about Box Brownie, just as a background. Brad at Filipponi and Mel Myers, they kind of had a meeting of the minds. Brad was a photographer and a real estate agent, and he wasn't very happy with like how the photographers down in Australia were marketing their properties. And so he really was focusing on like, you know, image enhancement and really providing the best output for the consumers to view and have that first impression. Mel was the tech guru. And so we started our company about 5 years ago, and just going into the States only about 3 years ago. So we help them, real estate agents in residential resale, investment, new build, commercial, retail. It's really anything and everything. This is our website. We are website based, and a few things just to note about our website. In the upper right hand corner, that is where you can change your currency if you are whether Canadian or American. In the bottom right, we're online. That's where we talk about 24/7. If you have any questions, anything that's going on, that's where you would go and have a chat there. We also are 24/7 different languages that we can go in there as well. We are pay as you go, so no contract whatsoever. And so that's kind of a great benefit with us as well. Kind of wanting to go right into the value of NAR has sent out to home buyers, and for the last 7 to 8 years, what home buyers and sellers were looking for in the real estate agent in terms of the website and best exposure. And photos, detailed copy information, floor plans, virtual tours, videos are always in the top 10, 12. So it's really important that you pay attention to Box Brownie or something that helps just build your imagery and copy to the best that you can to market your home. So the different type of edits, the most popular one is our image enhancement. And you can kind of see the difference there. We make the sky bluer, the grass greener. And we always say this is a great listing tip is to take, if you have a listing presentation, go drive by the house and take a picture with your phone and send it over to Box Brownie, and within 24 hours, you're gonna get this beautiful image enhancement property photo that you can then include in your listing presentation. And it just shows you and make it great first impression right from the beginning, and shows the seller what kind of marketing that they're gonna get with you as their agent. Twilight Conversion, this statistic is if you have this photo as your primary photo on the MLS, 4 times better click-throughs. So, you know, if anybody tells you you can get 4 times the exposure, that's definitely something that you want to pay attention to. And so that's the Twilight Conversion. Floor plan redraws. We, on our blog at Box Brownie, if you go to boxbrownie.com/B, and I'll put that in the chat later on, we will actually show you how to draw out a floor plan. And it turns in, we can do a dollhouse view right here. This is actually one of Karen's, one that she sent in. Yeah. And so, I mean, she drew that herself, and then
amazing.
and there's the floor plan branded with the RE/MAX brand right there. So its floor plans are something that statistically only 5% of people in the United States are including floor plans as part of their listing presentation. And it's the third thing that the consumers are asking for. So they want to be able to see the flow of what the home is, especially right now where they can't necessarily get into the property right away. They want to be able to see like, okay, is it feng shui? Like whatever it may be for them, and just be able to showcase, again, the property in the best light, get the most information. The more information, the better. Virtual staging, the thing that sets us apart from our virtual staging is we use CGI editors. So our editors actually measure the space in the room and to make the space, actually the virtual staging, look real. So if you have buyers, if you have sellers that their budget is very limited and they can't hire a stager, this is a great option because the cost is exponentially different. Or, you know, I mean, you can get a few really staged homes and photos, and then have a virtually staged photo for those other rooms. So we would also recommend just printing out these photos and putting them inside the room. So when they are actually going through the property, they're already seeing what they saw online right there.
Kosha?
Yeah.
Could you go back to that really quick? There's a lot of questions. First of all, you have a lot of fans out there because everyone's shouting how much they love Box Brownie. There is a really good question though from Shannon. Hi Shannon, what kind of disclaimers would you suggest when using virtually staged images? I would also ask that about the floor plans too.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want us to put any kind of statement on the actual picture, we can do that. These pictures are yours, so you can edit them however you want after we send them back to you. We own no ownership of them. But yeah, disclosure is absolutely a must that you need to do for anything that any alteration, because floor plans, you're not giving dimensions unless you can give dimensions, but unless you're getting it truly from like the builder where the dimensions are there in the floor plan, you're going to want to just disclose this is an estimate and either put it in the photo itself or just in the listing description, just saying that these are virtually staged. And in the virtual renovation picture, I'll actually give you something that we can write on there, that the verbiage. Let me go to item removals and then virtual renovations next, and I'll show you exactly what you can do there. Item removals, this is one that is used for those tenants that just have a lot of stuff, or homeowners that just have a lot of clutter. You just want to put it back to how the actual property is going to be when the buyer moves in. So that's your item removal. And here's your virtual renovation picture. This is something, again, you want to disclose everything when you alter anything, but especially virtual renovations, you probably want to check with your MLS to make sure that you can even put the virtual renovation page online. But that is the statement that we usually recommend if you're going to put any kind of disclosure on the photo. So does that make sense? Maybe you guys can take a picture of that.
Yes, yes. And are you going to provide us these slides that I can send out afterwards?
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
And then the last one is we do render. So if you are a buyer, an agent that does work with builders or developers, we can do renders and CGI rendering from CAD files or PDFs. So all of this is available online that you can check out. Just sign up for free. RE/MAX actually does have a promo code, and I'll let Michelle tell you guys a little bit about that at the end. So that's exciting for you guys. But just come use us if you haven't used us. Obviously, there's a lot of love out there already for us. But yeah, definitely this is going to be something that helps you take your business to next levels, earn those listings that you work so hard for, everything that goes with that. Michelle, do you have any other questions about that? Is there anything else that's coming up?
There are questions. We will definitely answer those here in just a moment. I want to go back to Andrew and Karen. Kosha, thank you. That was awesome. Like I said, you're getting a lot of shout outs. The first time I saw it, I got excited. And I just think it's amazing what you can do. I've seen other companies try to do this and nothing as high quality as Box Brownie. So, all right, thank you so much. So Andrew and Karen, could you share with us, we'll start with you, Karen. When did you first learn about Box Brownie? And what motivated you to actually start using it? Although I think we probably got some of that answered. but talk about your experiences with it as well as what your average spend is on it.
So looking at my Box Brownie dashboard, when you go and create an account, I can go back and see all of my work. So they go back to 2018, and I do believe I started with floor plans. And you saw one example where you can literally hand draw them, send it in, they'll get them back to you quickly. Sometimes it's 100%, they understood what you want, and sometimes you need a little more. So you can do redos, which is fabulous. And let's see, I would say, so the reason I started using it was because I would have the photographer come out and it would be a rainy day. And in my neck of the woods, north of Boston, you cannot schedule these photographers. And they weren't doing that blue skies. And everybody knows you need a blue sky on that first picture or some fabulous dusk shot. So that's really where I started. We're in a drought situation this year, and people want to see green lawns. And that, again, gets back to what Andrew mentioned. We have to grab them with that first picture. So the various levels of floor plans have been helpful for people, particularly some of your properties may not have the best curb appeal. So then having a floor plan can also round out what you're presenting to the public. My spend per listing can average from less than $5 to maybe $100 if I'm doing a larger home with multi-level floor plan and I'm asking Box Brownie to add in a lot of detail, rugs, carpeting, furniture, particularly for an empty home. I agree, these can help. My virtual staging photos that I have used look phenomenal. And that Twilight Conversion, I'm ready to sign up for a listing that I have. We need that. That looks beautiful. And we need to get people out of their seats. So I think I answered your question.
No, thank you. And Kosha, I saw you just put the disclosure in the chat box. So those of you that are on the computer and not your phone, and don't be doing this while you're driving, but you can copy and paste what Kosha just put in as your disclosure. So thank you for that. Thank you, Karen. That's really interesting and good to hear your story on how you got introduced. Andrew, what was your first introduction to Box Brownie? How did you get excited about it to start using it? And then what's your average spend?
Again, August 2018, like Karen, I had a look back on my transactions, and that's when I first started using it. And as I think we've all said, it's grabbing that attention. I saw the examples of the photo, the shot, and no matter how nice the day is, it can still be enhanced with, I love the dawn to dusk ones. So I really thought, yeah, we need to grab people's attention, as simple as that. And then there's all the other facets to Box Brownie, but the initial one was I want that photo. Then I started using them. The quality of the product is great, makes me look good. You know, that's the honest answer. And also the speed. You're not hanging around for days waiting for product to come back, photos to come back within 24 hours. And especially, I presume it's all done in Australia. I don't know, but with the time difference, I can send it out late afternoon. When I wake up in the morning, it's there ready and waiting for me. So quality of the product and also the speed is fantastic. I use it online, but you can start using it offline as well. I do brochures there. That's the money shot with the outside view. So that would have been the MLS view. That's the brochure view. Postcards, you know, we get a lot of snow up here, so that's snow. But you know, the online is the critical thing, but then you can reuse it for various types of marketing. My photos with my photographer cost me $75 a shoot, and that's for the stills. And I always spend $10 plus, depending, a minimum of $10 each listing, having spent 75. So it's quite a large percentage compared to the 50 photos, but it's worth every penny. I mean, virtual staging's a bit more, etc. But so to give you some idea, $75 Canadian, so that's about $5 US at the moment, unfortunately. And then minimum $10 added on to that to give you a percentage of where my budget is.
Thank you so much. So Andrew, can you talk a little bit about how do you talk about Box Brownie and what you do for your listings in a listing presentation?
I just show them. I don't talk. I just show them. You know, I've got some examples here. Yeah. I preface it by explaining how we need to grab people's attention, and we keep repeating ourselves, but that's the name of the game. When you've got a listing, getting your listing seen is easy. You know, we've got realtor.ca, realtor.com. With the internet, getting your listing in front of people is easy. It's differentiating your listing and making it so people don't just click or swipe away. That's our job in marketing, is to differentiate the listing and get the buyer's interest, in my opinion. So when I go on the listing presentation, I explain that, because that's what we earn our money for in marketing. And then I say, and they always agree. They say, "Oh yeah, we don't like the first photo. We click onto the next one." And then I'll show the Box Brownie, the money shot, whether it's, you know, the front of the house or a view. And you can, oh, wow, you know, it is a wow factor. And we use very much an overused cliche in real estate is the wow factor. But you're sitting there, you explain the science behind it, grabbing people's attention. That's what we're paid for. Marketing is to differentiate the listing and grab people's attention. And then you show them an example. And they go like that. You know, they're used to somebody going around with their phone clicking. So they see that. And then you can add on, if needs be, if it's a vacant house, you need the virtual staging, or I show different photos, the duck shot. If the front lawn's not very good, we can show, and we can do this to your front lawn. You know, simple things like that. And their eyes just light up because they've seen all the listings online that have got bad photos. So they can relate to it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Kosha, thanks for answering questions. Karen, so share with us how you talk about Box Brownie in your listing presentation.
Thanks, I do. So I also will come to a listing presentation with high quality materials featuring these pictures. And no matter the price range, that usually wows the seller. You want to be an agent that is actually going to spend money on the marketing. So then I can talk about this Australian company that turns around amazing pictures and will give them that night picture. And I met someone the other day who is in the middle of a large renovation, and she came to my listing because they're thinking they may just sell it as is. And when I mentioned, oh, I have a firm who could show what your house is going to be like when you put it back together again, she said, I'd love to have your card. So I think that could very much be a new I was also thinking, as we were talking, for buyers, when I'm trying to look at with buyers at a home that does need work, you know, if I'm not rushing to get an offer in, taking a picture, a high quality picture with an iPhone, getting it over to Brownie Box and saying, could you change that paint color? Could you put in some furniture? And getting that back to my buyers in a day could help them visualize. So I think I'm pretty excited about that.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
He's writing it down.
As long as we have the time. Sometimes you're under a lot of pressure to get those offers in.
But it could be used after, even if they've had the accepted offer. It's a touch point. You can say, I've just done this for you if you're trying to envisage what to do. But I know the terms are different in America, but up here between going firm and closing, it's that extra step. It's still marketing to the buyer.
It might be a really nice thank you. Like here, yeah. I've taken the liberty of showing you what your new kitchen might look like. Thank you for, you know, doing business with me. That's a great idea.
And you can actually put, like, I mean, anything that you alter on a photo, just print it out and put it on a poster board in a tripod in the room. So as they're walking through, they might not necessarily have found that property online. Their agent might have just said, hey, we're going to go look at this property. And so now they're in this space and you can actually see and visualize what it could look like. So it's absolutely a great feature. You're doing your guys' seller service as well as your buyer, you know, and more likely you're going to get more money and sell it faster.
Love that, Kosha. That's awesome. So, and for those of you that get challenged, which you all do on your commissions on a regular basis, talk about things like this, where you're actually investing back into your business So you're not working for free. These are just so many of the things that you do to better yourself, your business, to promote their listings. Definitely talk about this, and it's okay to talk about money and what you invest back into it. So that's what's really good. Okay, so how do you talk? So could you share? You already shared some before and after photos. Kosha, do you have any specific before and after photos for the RE/MAX network, or just in general that you could show us?
Yeah, I definitely do. So there's been a lot of questions about pricing, Canadian pricing versus American. And you would just go in the upper right-hand corner and change the pricing to Canadian. And that's fine there. And it'll give you the breakdown. Usually it's about 8% higher than American cost. So on a virtual staging, you're looking at $32 per image for US, and Canadian, it's around 35-ish, somewhere around there. So Jesse is one that he uses our services in all aspects: image enhancements, item removals, 360 image enhancements, virtual staging. He does them all. So what really has taken his business and reduced his marketing cost for photography is something called bracketing. And this is using your own phone. There's a couple different apps that I'll show you at the end. But bracketing, what it does is it takes about 7 different exposures of the property. So if you're not using a professional photographer, this is something you can just go in there, or if they're delayed and taking forever to schedule somebody in there, you can do this yourself. And that's your final outcome for that property. So what they'll do at the bracketed photos, 7 photos, they'll send them all to us, and we'll stitch them together with this being the outcome. So, I mean, look how clear the outside is. I mean, that's when you can see what's outside just as clear as what's inside. That's when you know your professional photographer is doing a good job. Or if, like in this case, he's doing it himself and he's saving himself a ton of money. This is the iPhone app that you can use. It's Camera Pixels Pro. And the Android app is Manual Camera DSLR, Camera Professional. Those are the 2 apps that we recommend if you're gonna do bracketing straight from your phone. And then in addition, you're gonna want a tripod and then a smartphone mount. And then here's all the applications that we recommend putting it on when using those apps. And again, all of this information is going to be at boxbrownie.com/B. So in his marketing from a photographer, having a photographer go out there was anywhere from $200 to $350 to now he's taking the inside photos himself using this app on his phone, and it's costing him less than like $25. So, I mean, it's the money that you're going to save is awesome. So that's our biggest success story. I mean, not our biggest, but I mean, like, that's just one example within the RE/MAX brand that is just killing it in regards to just using a little bit of tools of doing it yourself and then sending them to us that we can help you take it to the next level and pitching it all together, stitching it all together.
Kosha, could you show the Android app again, please? We're getting a couple questions about that.
Yep. Let's go back.
Thank you.
Of course.
I promise we'll get to everyone's questions here in just a bit. It's
the Manual Camera DSLR. And again, I'll write these down.
We'll send some of this in the follow-up too.
So Camera Pixels Pro, Manual Camera DSLR.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Well, if I could, I'll just, it was wonderful that you have some affordable photographers in Canada. I would say in the Boston area, I'm starting at $170 and going up. I can't even find a good photographer who can do it for $100, and I have to come out again. It's going to be another $50. So I definitely, without really saying I needed to save money, I was like, I cannot afford to have another photographer to come out and take the time. So that's where Box Brownie was definitely important in my business.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, I mean, you guys, these These phones, these phones, the camera quality in them is absolutely amazing. And so, I mean, just like I said before, if you take just a photo of the outside with your phone, send it to us. We'll do the image enhancement. You do the bracketing, that takes care of all of your inside. We can convert that image enhancement to the Twilight Conversion. We can combine, you know, item removals with virtual staging. It's literally endless with us. I mean, if you kind of come up with something else, it would just be a custom job and we'll take care of you.
That's great. Thank you. So Andrew and Karen, I've got kind of the $1 million question. In a lot of the markets, including your own, listings are selling so fast that you can barely print a flyer, you can barely print a postcard. So how do you decide and when you're going to put these type of efforts into a property versus not? So we'll start with you, Karen.
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on where your seller is coming from. I will say in 2020, we're still not doing brochures and high quality pieces on a regular basis because people are too worried about touching surfaces and things. So that's the first time in years that I haven't been spending a lot of time doing that. So then that has me refocusing on what can I be doing online. Sometimes the seller is not worried. The seller wants the home to be sold and looking to you for advice and gives you the flexibility to do that. And some clients are interviewing multiple agents and want to know that you're the agent that's going to spend the most time and money on their listing. So I definitely that's a factor of this business, that you will not need to spend the same amount of money on every listing. But for the listings you really want, you want to pull out every trick in your bag. And I don't find that other agents in my market know about Box Brownie. So that is a differentiator for sure.
It's good to know. And hopefully just Remaxers in New England know about it now. So that's great. Thank you. Andrew, how about you? How do you deal with that when homes are selling so fast in your market?
Well, I always aim to have a 7-day pre-listing period, even in a hot market, educating the seller that if we get everything in place, the photos, the video, even if it's going to sell within a day, it's going to sell for a lot more. You're going to get a lot more eyes on it. So first stage is sticking to your guns. If that's the process you use, 7-day pre-listing, educating the seller. Don't panic. You're going to get more money because we're going to have better exposure to more buyers. Say it's 5 days. As I said earlier, Box Brownie turns around in 24 hours. You know, you can get it, even if you're listing same day, you could almost get Box Brownie to do the photos. So educating the seller, that's the main thing, that it's worth waiting even in a hot market, because you're going to make more money by being exposed to more people in a better light. I don't pick and choose. Every listing gets the Box Brownie treatment, gets the 3D tour, gets the video. You've made a commitment to your seller that we're going to market. And as Karen said, you've got to add value. You've got to show your value. You're not adding the value. You've got to show your value. So even if it sells within 24 hours and you spent X amount and nobody's had time to click on the video, your own integrity, you've followed through with what you've said you're going to do. And from a more self-promotion point of view, it's out there online. So even if the house is sold, people are still looking at the videos. They're still looking at the photo, even after it's closed. So it's worth every penny.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, and it's just like, I've had this conversation with a lot of you about Design Center, where you're saying the same thing. Well, why should I create projects in Design Center if my listings are selling so fast? These can be used. There's really no shelf life for those type of products, especially you can upload your Box Brownie photos into Design Center, because remember, you're always trying to get more listings, and these can be used in your listing presentations. I saw a comment from Wade who said exactly the same thing, that you can always get more sellers as a result of whatever you're doing today, regardless of how fast it sells. So very good points from both of you.
And
Kosha, do you have something to say?
You've told the seller that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So you can't then backtrack because you're going to save yourself a few dollars. And you're getting full commission because you're showing your value. The people who say, sorry for being rude, but the agents who won't do it are the ones that cut their commission. They
Right.
don't see the value they're bringing, and you make a commitment to market every listing the same. You can't pick and choose whether it's a $200,000 house or $1 million house is irrelevant. You've made a commitment. This is what I do, and you have to follow through with it.
That's fantastic. Kosha, I'm picturing what Andrew said on one of your brochures, maybe like a testimonial. You make the commitment. Every listing gets the red carpet treatment.
Ooh, something like that. That sounds great.
The box brownie.
Karen has some good quotables too, for sure.
Yeah.
So
there's a question real quick, Michelle, that how do you address the seller or buyer, how much it will cost to renovate the property to the enhanced picture? So when you're doing a virtual renovation, the objection handling that I would recommend is get a contractor's quote on how much it would cost to get that final outcome picture prior to putting any kind of virtual renovation pictures up there. So when you are at the property itself and you're looking at that pegboard with the final version, the renovated property picture, include the contractor's quote in there, and then you're handling that objection right then.
definitely. And speaking of renovations, a lot of you have gone the route where you're working with builders on new construction because inventory is so low in your markets that Box Brownie can work with you to help potential buyers visualize new construction, because a lot of people can't, and that's where they can really help you with that. So
yeah, that's all about our renders right there. So our rendering, and we do aerial views. I mean, we do headshot retouches, like literally it's endless.
no, for sure. Karen, we're going to go to Karen and Andrew again, and then we're going to take some more questions and we'll start wrapping up. But Karen, what other RE/MAX tools do you use to market your listings?
Let's see. In the design center, definitely using what I think is called the virtual tour. And I'm not sure if that's the same as the website, but that is really easy. Particularly if Andrew said once your home is on the market, and we use a similar strategy in my area where we're going to, even for a hot listing, we're going to have it out there for a few days and give people time to percolate. So once those photos are in your MLS, you can go into Design Center, pull up a project, and it'll say which listing do you want to pull in from. So it automatically pulls in the pictures, which saves you time and energy. It sends in the copy as well. So I'm all about, I have used plenty of flyers in the past and postcards, and I've used pretty much everything in the design center. Lately, I am focusing on virtual tours and videos and websites.
Fantastic. Andrew, how about you?
I like the URL shortener.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can, I'm not great at tracking, it's one of my faults, but at least you can show the seller in a less hot market look. There's so many people looking at this link, so I like using that. As Karen said, Design Center specifically for social media, just listed, just sold, easy stuff. I like listening to podcasts when I'm walking my dog in the morning and the evening, and Adam Contus's Start With a Win. Not quite an app, but if you're in RE/MAX, you get some fantastic ideas from his 20-minute, half an hour podcast. So parallel to an app, well worth listening to his podcast.
I agree. I listen to those when I'm driving, but then I always hear something really profound and I want to take notes, but I can't because I'm driving. So I try to remember.
Siri, just to use Siri. It is. Hey Siri, remind me at 5 p.m. And then we all do a lot of thinking in the cars.
Right.
And it's almost the most simple thing that comes with the phone, Siri, is your reminder list.
Right.
So
I love it.
That's an excellent tip.
Thank you, Andrew. So I know that, in case you didn't know, RE/MAX INTEGRA has a podcast as well. It's called Now We're Talking Real Estate. Now We're Talking Real Estate. So check it out on the Apple or Google podcast menu items or library that's in there. We have some really good intel. Some of you watching right now were probably on some of those podcasts. So thank you for sharing all your best practices. All right, let's take a quick peek at some questions. Sean says, I love Box Brownie. I started working in the commercial market, been using them to update their floor plans. That's great. Yes, this is not just residential. Jody says, how do you indicate you want furniture in the adjacent rooms and patio like you have in your pictures?
It's just the image. So we don't take it by individual rooms. If it's the image shows multiple rooms, then it's all included in that one. So you just basically just have to tell us.
Awesome, thanks. Charlotte is asking, Kosha, are you able to do item removal and then do virtual staging on the same room?
You got it. There's another question in here that talks about our virtual 360. So I'm going to go in there and show that real quick. Because that's our newest service. And the reason why we launched it is because again, it's do it yourself. So you're using a 360-degree camera, so like a Ricoh Theta V and a monopod. And we stitch the photos together to then get your outcome on your 360 virtual tour. So this is an example of it. This is me just scrolling around, and you can go in there and actually see. So here's one photo, and you go in here and you can do virtually staged or unstaged. So we can do everything. For that. So, I mean, and it's only $20 for our virtual tour for up to 15 photos. And so you just, like I said, you just take the Ricoh Theta V or any 360-degree camera and put it there. And then people were asking about my contact information. That is me. So if anybody wanted to reach out to me in regards to pass this webinar,
I'll
feel free.
include it in the follow-up as well. I'll include Kosha's contact info as well as Andrew's and Karen's. The Canadian price, there's been a couple of questions about that. So this slide is showing US price, and what is, maybe Andrew can help us out with what the Canadian cost is.
The basic photos are $5.
Okay.
I think it's $2 for an enhancement, which would be the lawn. The dusk to dawn, which is the main thing I use, is $5. I think the virtual staging was 30 something.
Yeah, it'd be about 35 for Canadian, 32 for US. Image enhancement is $1.60. Canadian, it'd be $2 about. Yeah, so just add.
I don't want to say to Box Brownie it's negligible in case they put the prices up, but you're selling our average price, 12-month average price is $510,000.
Right.
$5 on a photo, $20 on virtual tour. And look,
nothing.
It's not even worth a discussion. You're buying your Starbucks for more than it would cost to present the house in a better light.
Definitely.
Sorry, I'm ranting a bit.
No, that's okay. So Anonymous says, this was about 20 minutes ago. I think we answered this. Who takes the pictures? Would I still use a local photographer? Well, you heard what Karen said about photographers and how expensive they are. So you could do it a little bit yourself using the right apps, but be careful with that. Let's see, landscaping to the outside. Marianne's asking, can you landscape the outside? If that's
Yeah, so in terms of, we're never going to add anything that's not there or take away anything that's not there. So like if there is a power line, we're not going to remove that. That's just, it's unethical, and we're just not going to you don't want to put yourself down to that level. I mean, if the grass is greener, that's normal, because if it was a beautiful weather and you get that beautiful sunrise, sunset, those are actually believable images. So yeah, and just, there's so many things, like the power within your phone. You have the capability of doing a lot of this stuff yourself. Just when you're hiring a photographer, just make sure that they're not just Photoshop editors and they're showing the outside as clear as the inside with no color discoloration. So, and ask us if, we have 24/7, ask us if hey, is this a good professional photographer? We are always willing to help and give you advice.
for sure. Greg is asking, Andrew and Karen, do you use your own camera?
Karen? I get a photographer in. I always use a professional photographer.
Okay.
I
Karen?
stopped buying Sorry, it's my background. I stopped buying digital cameras a few years ago, and now I'm not on the iPhone 11 yet, but I make it a priority that I'm spending outrageous amounts of money on my phone because it is my camera. Only I'm only able to use my phone in certain instances, and I sometimes use it as a supplement. Oh, I wish the photographer had gotten this shot, and then if I need to, I can send it to Box Brownie. I am mostly using professional photographers because the depth and the width of the image is just amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. There's questions about taking bracketing photos. I'm sure there's probably videos on YouTube about that. We certainly, well, we're not experts on that particular app, but Kosha might be able to answer.
Yeah, I mean, again, go to our blog. That boxbrownie.com/B has a plethora of information there that will help you, whether you do it yourself or whatnot. So, and yeah.
What is that?
Just go there.
boxbrownie.com/blog?
No, boxbrownie.com/B.
B. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just put that in there. Okay, great. Let's see. Getting requests for contact information. Yes, there is. So as far as, just really quick for those of you that have to leave, in Max Center, if you find the approved suppliers, Box Brownie is there, and you actually have a coupon code. So there it is. Kosha just put it up. We are Remax with an exclamation point, and the discounts are in there. Kosha, I'm so sorry. 10%.
No, so it's a dollar amount. So we are giving you $30.
30, yes.
Yeah. So, and then you're just basically going to want to sign up, and it's in that promo code. Now, if you've already signed up and you never included a promo code when you originally signed up, just let Michelle know or reach out to me, and I will add that discount, that promo code into your dashboard. And just for signing up, every person automatically gets 3 free image enhancements as well as 1 day to dusk just to try us out. And remember, we are no commitment, no contract. Use us when you need us. And again, there's my contact information.
Thank you so much. Still some more questions. Let me just see if we haven't answered some of these. Let's see. This is a good question. Do you ever have a potential buyer of a property feel disappointed upon seeing that in person after it's been rendered by Box Brownie? Karen or Andrew, has that ever happened?
I did. I used virtual staging. The home was mostly empty and it was a slower market. I needed people to come into the property. So I used the virtual staging that brought people to the property. No one was very upset that, and I disclosed it was virtually staged. Nobody expressed real concern when they got to the property. But what I found is that for this particular property in a slower market, it wasn't enough to make the property move. My seller and I ultimately decided to bring in some live staging. I still left the staging photos up because, again, it's what's the money shot? How do I get him to come to see my listing? So I was really excited by the ease of getting that up there. It was certainly easier to get Box Brownie to help me virtually stage it than it was to then follow up with a live stager who may be busy, maybe can't get there right away. And it's more money.
Definitely. So that's great. Getting a lot of questions for Andrew about his 7-day pre-listing process. I'm going to make sure you have their contact information so that you can reach out to them for sure. And I'm sure he'll be happy to answer that.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. So some questions about DSLR. We're getting very technical. This is so awesome. And let me just check the chat box. Jason Rattan, hi Jason, is saying standalone websites are great, and Design Center can host Matterport and a custom video tour. Thank you for that. The URL shortener that Andrew mentioned, as Karen and Andrew know, is in Max Center. It's one of the applications. You can drop any link inside of there, even a link to a webinar, and it will shorten it. You can name it. So like, for instance, I named this on the back end, it's Tech Tuesdays. And what you can do is it'll track clicks for you. So that's a great tool to use, available to both Ontario Atlantic and the US. The podcast name again for INTEGRA is Now We're Talking Real Estate. And then the Adam Contos one is Start with a Win. They're both fantastic. And I like that you walk a dog and listen to the podcast. That's a great idea. Let's see. There's webinars coming up. Yes, RE/MAX LLC Tech Team is running several webinars on Design Center, which is good. A lot of camera questions. This is great, everyone. Thank you so much for the interaction. Looks like some repeat questions. And like Kosha said, if you have some specific technical questions on the product for Box Brownie, they have a full website full of information. Let's see, here's a question. Our MLS doesn't like photos that are wide or long, which is how a phone takes a photo. Can Box Brownie change the sizing to make it better for an MLS system?
That's a question that I have never had before. So I would assume yes, but I mean, your phone can change it to square format as well, and or you can just edit it in the I'm going to say yes, but like not 100%.
That's good. Question from Robin. This is good. Can you add furniture to a Matterport file that's sent that was from a professional photographer?
Yeah, so I mean, as long as it's your photo, you send it to us and we can do whatever you want to it. I will say that sometimes professional photographers, if you are making some major changes, they might get mad at you if they find out. So you might want to have that discussion with them prior to, just saying, hey, I appreciate everything that you do, but I'm also going to do the best thing for my sellers. And that could be including virtual staging or whatever it may be. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Kosha, I think your email inbox is going to explode. Looks like you've got a lot of people on board. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's bring it home. Karen, what final words of advice would you have for your peers watching about whether it's Box Brownie or just marketing your listings in general?
My best advice is the customer is always right. And I like to, while I know what works in my market for a particular energy level in my market, so staying on top of the energy level of your market, I always like to include the level, an aspect of customization. In general, we are doing, about a week on the market, and if there's offers, then we respond to them. But I think you need to stay light on your feet, and I think you should commit to your sellers that this is a custom marketing plan that fits you and the current marketplace. So here's the sphere of things we can do. Here's at a minimum what we will do, and just be prepared that there may be the unexpected, more demand, less demand, and we will fine tune the marketing plan to your needs. That's what I like to say to my sellers.
Thank you. Great advice. Andrew.
I've touched upon it already. I think I was reading an article about marketing, so I'm just got some notes here, and it's not my thoughts at all. But range, reach, and influence. Range and reach, the internet, realtor.com, and just repeating what I said earlier. Our job is to influence buyers to come and see a house, and that's marketing to me. So use all the tools you can sensibly. Don't start spending thousands on a new camera if it's not in the budget, but just do the job, do the work. Sell the listing, even if it's not your buyer. Get it in front of buyers online, with a printed material, and use stuff like Box Brownie, use virtual tours in the RE/MAX app or Box Brownie, Don't just take some photos with your phone, stick a sign in the front, and then walk on to the next listing presentation. We owe it to the consumers that we try to sell their home. And that's my bit.
Well said. Thank you. Kosha, what's your last words of advice, or maybe just again, how to reach you?
Yeah, I think you guys have the ability. RE/MAX is our longest franchise relationship, and there's a reason for that. You guys have a lot of tools already available to you. We're just kind of an addition to, and just like Andrew and Karen said, it's really important for you to market the home. And if you do it properly, you're going to win referrals. You're going to win listings. You're going to win buyers. And in the end, you're doing your job. You're putting in the work, and you're going to be recognized as doing a good job. So, I mean, just be honest to yourself. Use the tools that are available to you. Michelle, you have that PDF that I originally sent to you that has all of our different services broken down with price for each one, as well as how to log in, sign in, and start a job. And it includes that promo code "We Are RE/MAX!" all caps. To be able to do that. Yeah, I already got a few emails that says, I just signed up. I didn't know that there was a promo code. So I will definitely take care of everybody. I thank you so much for having me. You guys are in great hands, and please, yeah, reach out again. If you need my contact information, there it is. One more time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Can I just add one quick thing, Michelle? I know we're running on. If you do your job properly and market it properly, you can charge the full commission.
Yeah,
we're showing value. RE/MAX is not a discount brokerage. So do your job properly, spend on marketing, do it properly, and then you show your value. Commission isn't even a question. So
love it.
Yeah.
I've actually had a couple RE/MAX agents say that if they put together 3 different brackets of what kind of marketing they do for each one, and instead of their pricing commission going lower, it actually goes up. So,
yep, gotta love those, all those great tips. Well, thank you so much. Please find Andrew and Karen in Max Center. Think about them for referrals in their markets in Wilmington, Massachusetts, and Andrew in Wasaga Beach in Ontario. And Kosha, you all have her contact information. What was that excitement you had at the end there?
I was just like, let's do a selfie. Like everybody goes, bye. Love it.
No, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. We're going to dive more into the RE/MAX tools and apps. Thank you again, Andrew, Karen, and Kosha. Everyone have a great day. You will get the recording and the follow-up. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It was terrific. Appreciate it. Good luck to all. Happy selling.
Thanks.